Good afternoon, Andre. I'm going to ask you a question I asked the manager as well, which is, for a lot of you guys, you're used to Premier League football. When you've dropped down to the Championship, it's difficult to get yourself motivated anyway. When you factor in that there's no fans in the stadium as well, that makes it doubly difficult. Just give us an idea of how hard that has been for you to sort of get yourself up for these games.
Now, look, we're professional footballers. This is what we get paid to do. This is the job that we love. So we have to deal with it regardless. We can't sit here and sulk and whatever, because we're in the position that we're in for a reason. There's no hiding behind that. We got relegated. It's not what we wanted, but we ultimately did. So the only goal that we have now is to go straight back up instantly. That's not through playoffs or anything. That is straight to get promoted instantly. So it's not hard to get motivated. That's the only motivation that we need. And if we haven't got that, and we have to rely on fans and stuff and all of this, even though it's difficult, then there's a problem there. So we need to be honest with ourselves and deal with it the best way we can, which is to get promoted.
Talk has already started about the January transfer window, even though it's still 6 weeks away. And I think a lot of people think that if you can keep hold of Ismaïla Sarr, it'll be a result for the club. Just give us an idea of what he's like to play alongside and how much easier he makes your job.
He's the proof's in the pudding with Isma. He's a beast. As simple as that. He'll win us more games than you can imagine. Even if he's not scoring or assisting, if anyone watches games and understands football, will understand that the effect that he brings to the game. And even with Isma, I don't think he's even hit the heights that he has against teams like Liverpool and stuff like that when he was playing out of his skin. He hasn't even got to that stage yet, and that's still to come. And when he gets firing and he's playing like we know he can, then you're going to see even more. For me, the league's too easy for him. So we just need to get him firing and keep him where he's at now, because he's a game winner. Even when we're not playing well, he's the person that, he's like our Messi. He's one of them players that you just give him the ball and just let him do what he's doing. So you're going to see a lot more of him, and I'm sure we'll keep him beyond January. And he's the person that everyone will look to, and we will look to go and fire us back up.
Do you fear a Premier League club will come in January, or have you been around this game long enough to know that there's no point worrying about that?
Well, I think we're going to have a lot of problems with the club if they let him go in January, because of the effect that he has. And if the club are really serious about us getting promoted, then he's the person that we need. Beyond that, I'm sure clubs are going to come in regardless. But as we know, January is a bit of a tricky, difficult window. It's a bit weird in terms of transfers and stuff like that. But yeah, look, we need to keep him. It's simple as that. Obviously, the politics in football is a bit strange and whatever. But if we're serious about getting promoted, then we need to keep him.
And just one final question from me. I mean, a similar question regarding Troy, really. I know he's had a difficult start of the season regarding little niggling injuries, but he might fancy one more shot at the Premier League, and there might be Premier League clubs interested. How much does he bring to the club, not just when he crosses that white line, but in terms of in the dressing room, in a leadership role, and being a character that everybody can rally around? Again,
it's the same argument that we have with Isma. Like, if we're serious about getting promoted, then we need to keep Troy as well. Again, the proof's in the pudding. He's played in this league. He's got promoted in this league. He's scored plenty of goals in this league. And we, being genuinely honest, we have the best team in the league. That's a fact. And that's not even just saying it off in terms of quality and the players that we've had in the Premier League. Like, we have proven players in the Championship that have been promoted. So we need those kind of people around the squad, because it's not easy, and a lot of the young boys are starting to get that now. That we're gonna have games where it's horrible and it's ugly, but it's a winning mentality that we need. So people like Troy is what we need in the club if we want to get promoted. So nothing changes in terms of that with him and Isma. So if we're serious about getting promoted and the club is serious about getting promoted back to the Premier League, then these are the players that we need.
Hi, Dre. Last time you spent a season in this division, you scored 25 goals, I think, for Burnley, and you won the Championship Player of the Year. Do you like to think that your goal against Coventry was the first of many for you now that you're back?
Yeah, I hope so. Look, I've probably doubted myself in the Premier League. It's a lot different. It's difficult, and you don't get those sort of chances every week that come off your backside. But
did it actually go in? Or did it back?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So is that the way to start?
Yeah. So yeah, look, I think I had 3 or 4 chances in that game that on another day I would have scored. I've never doubted myself in this league. That's a fact. So I know that if I play every game from now until then, I will score goals. I believe in myself that much, especially in this league. So it's about playing games and getting on the score sheet, and I believe I will do that.
Last time you played at QPR, you had a goal chalked off for offside. Looking back, you were onside, weren't you?
Yeah, 100%. I remember that, but there were the days that we didn't have a VAR and everything, and luckily I'm happy that we don't have it in the Championship anyway. But so it is what it is. Yeah, look, like I said, I know that I know where the net is. I just need that consistency of games, and I'll prove my worth.
Andre, hello, it's Adam.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you about, just in general terms, the main changes that you've seen since Vladimir Ivic has been in charge. What are the things that sort of strike you as being completely different to whatever you've seen before?
Obviously the formation's a lot different, training's a lot different. What else? Look, a lot's changed. I think the strictness has came in. That's probably what we've needed. Even in terms of dictating the team, it come down to training, because maybe with previous managers, things haven't changed because of he had his starting 11 and no matter how anyone trained or whatever, that was it. But with him now, you see the difference in terms of the young boys are getting a chance as well, and the older boys having to prove their worth. So he's came in and changed that and made it clear that you have to keep your place in the team and you have to prove that regardless. So I think they were the biggest changes for me.
Within that sort of strict regime and having a manager who maybe is a bit more sort of standoffish and he's also learning his trade as well, is there a sort of a give and take with some of the senior players whereby you can help him as well without overstepping the mark?
Yeah, of course. Look, he's the gaffer, he's the boss. I think we seen it the other day. Troy was on the pitch when we got a penalty. But before the game, the manager stated it clearly that Isma was on penalties. And that's the respect that he's gained from everyone. I know Troy obviously wasn't happy with that, the fact that he's on the pitch and he couldn't take the penalty, but that is the mark he has set, that his decision is overruled by any player. No player is bigger than the club. And he's the boss, so this is how it is. It's simple as that. Maybe he puts on the sheet that I'm taking penalties or Clevs is taking penalties or whoever. But I think that, to me, showed the respect that he's gained off the players as to where we respect his decision and whatever he makes.
What would you say is your sort of the best setup for you? Because a lot of people have said, Andre needs the ball in front of him. He's not going to He's not going to hold it up for us. He wants it in front of him. What do you see as your best position and where you want the ball?
Yeah,
not a one-trick pony though. That's,
no, of course. Look, I've based my game on going in behind. That is me. That is me as a player. I see myself as a quick, powerful player. That my best attribute is to the ball in behind. That is how I've got to where I've got to in my career, is by playing like that. But at the end of the day, I need to adapt as well. It'd be ignorant for me to just keep saying that I need to play on the shoulder all the time, because when a team need me to hold the ball up or play that sort of position, and I need to do it. So that's something that I've been trying to learn and get better at, because it's not always going to be like that. Even, for instance, Saturday is a game where the pitch is smaller, it feels more tight, so I have to adapt. It's as simple as that. I've played as a lone striker before at Brentford, and I did well. So look, I've got to adapt. Obviously, my strongest point is playing on the shoulder, and the team know that when they play with me, that is my strength. But at the end of the day, I have to, like I said, adapt. We've got players like Ismaïla and João and all these types of players that can do the same that I'm doing and go in behind. So if I'm playing with them, then I have to sacrifice myself sometimes as well to allow them to go in behind.
You've made life interesting for Ismaïla Sarr and for Troy as well, saying, you know, well, if we want to go up, we have to keep them. You know, you've said that about them. The club needs to keep you, and you need to want to stay if Watford are going to get back into the Premier League. Is that guaranteed?
I believe so, yeah. If I'm being honest, yeah, I believe so. Like I said before, I'm proving in this league for 2 seasons. I've proved myself, and I feel like I'm a better player than I was then. My game's grown, my mentality's grown. So yeah, I believe that, yes, but I'm not going to sit there and boast about what I can do. I'd rather just let the football do the talking.
I want to go back to that goal against Coventry and sort of, obviously the last season where you were struggling to get that first team place, you said yourself, and then to have the injury at the start of the season. How important psychologically was it for you to get that goal, and how do you feel you can build on it from here?
Yeah, it was massive. Look, it was my first start in just under a year, so it was always good to get a goal. But at the end of the day, it was about the win. That was what we needed. We didn't play particularly well, but we won the game, and that was the most important. I was very rusty, but this is what happens when you're injured for a long time. It takes time to get your match fitness, and your legs are telling you to do one thing and your brain's telling you to do a different. It's hard to connect them when you come back from such a long injury. But yeah, look, I was happy to get the goal. It was a big weight off my shoulders just to, just put the ball in the net again. But yeah, look, it's not going to happen overnight. You know what I mean? So I just need to keep working now and try and get my sharpness back and just kick on from here now.
So there's been a lot of competition this season in particular in your position, with Ismaïla Sarr and João Pedro also playing in the middle. Is this the strongest you feel the attack's been since you arrived at the club? Yeah,
it can be, I believe. I think we've always had strong attacks since I've been here. We had Richarlison, and season after we had Gerrard and all these players. So look, it's part and parcel. This is the standard that we have here. So it's about every day in training we have to prove our worth to the manager. It's all good having our names on a piece of paper to say that he's done this in the past, he's done that in the past, but we have to prove it. So yeah, look, we've got the best attack in the league on paper, but we need to go and prove that and prove our worth. Where are you going? Subscribe here first.